What an interesting day to be doing the trade. It's look, I've been hearing the word crash mentioned a few times over the last few days, last couple of weeks really, and I guess it's that September period. We get into September and we start hearing the stories about how markets, sometimes crash in December and in September, and these bad things can happen. But look, they more often than not they don't. So I think we need to keep some perspective around this, and to put this into some perspective, like this is the first 5% pullback we've had since March. And if we then think about 10% pullbacks, well, we've only seen one of those since the market low back in March last year, and that was about a year ago. So when you look at it like that, what we're seeing now isn't that out of the ordinary for how bull markets work. But I think the thing is we've become quite accustomed to a nice steady and persistent advance over pretty much the last year or so. And so then when some of the more regular sort of market volatility comes in, it does become quite unnerving to people, particularly when they're seeing reports about we're in September and terrible things can happen. So look, I think there's probably some more downside in this move. And we look at this chart here of the S&P 500. I don't think it's setting itself up for a crash like 2020. They're low probability events. I think the odds favour this is more of the 5 to 15% sort of variety. And just looking at this chart, the market closed below the 50-day moving average for the first time since March last night. And last night's low was on the 100-day moving average. And we actually saw a little bit of a bounce there. So we may see a bit of follow-through buying overnight, at least early in the session. But I think that, look, I think the market's going to test this support level, which I have marked on the chart. That's between 42.60 and 42.30. That's 7% down from the high. And if that breaks, well, the next focus becomes a 200-day moving average, which is about 10% below the high. But look, the interesting thing about these big multi-year bull markets is that the 200-day moving average often gets tested maybe once or twice every year or two. Hasn't had a touch since, I think it was June 2020, so it's a while now. So, you could say one sort of due around now, perhaps. Look, I think that, we need to keep the medium-term cases being bullish, and we've got to look at this as probably more of a consolidation, a pullback, rather than a change of trend.